Okay, in our last video, we planned a proof. The proof that we planned was exactly like this. Right now, we're going to go ahead and make a proof. So we're going to actually use our plan and go straightforward and write a paragraph proof. So a proof is very similar to an argumentative or a persuasive essay, and we're going to have the same parts. We're going to have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. So those are the three basic parts of any proof. So what we did yesterday, or not yesterday, I'm sorry, but in the last video, was we set it up. We said, okay, angle 1 and angle 3, they're vertical angles. We knew that because they tell us that right here. We then looked at angle 1 and angle 2, and angle 2 and angle 3. And angle 1 and angle 2, they form a linear pair, and angle 2 and angle 3 form a linear pair. So we knew that by our definition. We also knew by the theorem of the linear pair theorem that they're supplementary. So measure angle 1 plus measure angle 2 is 180, and measure angle 2 plus measure angle 3, that's also equal to 180. We then took that and we wrote an equation. Measure angle 1 plus the measure angle 2 would be equal to, so we took this and put these together. We used substitution, and we wrote it out like this. And then solved that equation to get that answer right there, and that led us to this. Now, before we go on, I used two different things here, definitions, theorem. Now, a postulate and a theorem, they're basically the same thing. A postulate is something we start from the beginning. It's an assumption that's been made of something that's true. It's obviously true, and so it doesn't need to be proven. A theorem is something that's been proven using a combination of postulates and definitions and other things. But for your purposes, you can treat them the same. A postulate and a theorem is just something that tells you what is true about whatever we're talking about. So like linear pairs, for instance. So what is true about something? Okay, now a definition. So this is what is true about. This is what is. What is. That's the main thing that's answering. So the difference between the definition of a linear pair would be telling you how to determine what it is. It doesn't tell you any of the properties. It just tells you what it is. A postulate or a theorem tells you what's true about it. So the theorem about linear pairs tells you that it's equal to 180. The definition tells you how to determine what it is. It's two different angles that form a straight line and share a common side. So that's the difference. Okay, so now we're going to start off. We're going to make a series of statements. Our introduction, we're always going to start off with the given. So what's true about this that they tell us? And we know from the beginning that angle 1 and angle 3 are vertical angles. And then we know that because it is given to us. Okay? And then our body starts here. Our body is going to be all of the statements that we put together to come up to our proof statement, which is going to be our conclusion. So our introduction is going to be the given. Now, of course, the picture is part of our given two information also. So we know from this what the other angles, how the other angles are placed, and we can figure out what those are as well. So our body is going to be, we're going to start off with angle 1 and angle 2. Let's start off. Okay. Using the definition of linear pairs, of a linear pair, okay, we know that angle 1 and angle 2 form a linear pair, and angle 2 and angle 3 form a linear pair. Okay, so that was the second part, the second statement. Now the third statement we're going to make is also, again, we're just following this plan right here. We know that the measured angle 1 plus the measured angle 2 equals 180. We also know that the other pair, 2 and 3, also equal 180. So this first one, we know the definition. The reason we know that angle 2 and angle 3 form a linear pair is because we know these two angles, when you put them together, they share a side and they form a straight line. This one, we're going to say we know what we know about them. So we know that angle 1 and angle 2 form a linear pair, and what's true about them is that they add up to 180. So this is our theorem. Okay, so we know this is true because or by using, I should say, maybe, by using the linear pair theorem. Now, once we have this written down on paper, we can get rid of the 180 here and the 180 here, and we can put this together. That means our next step is going to be the measure angle 1 plus the measure angle 2 equals measure angle 2 plus the measure angle 3. And now we know that by substitution. Okay? So we just, instead of 180, we substituted this for 180 because we know this is equal to 180. And then finally, we're going to subtract. And our next statement is measure angle 1 equals measure angle 3. Okay? And we by using subtraction, of equality. And then finally, so this is all our body from here all the way down to here. So finally, this is going to be our conclusion. And we're just going to use this last statement down here to go in and say that angle 1 and angle 3 are congruent. And angle 1 is congruent to angle 3 because if two angles have the same measure, they are congruent. And that's our definition of angle congruence. So I'm going to put that back up and slid down. Okay, so if you can see that, there it is.